Hello and welcome. Today we're working in managerial accounting in the job order costing chapter, or just job costing. So we're working a problem where we have examples and journal entries on job costing. Hey, if you're new, my name is Jeff from Finally Learn. I teach a lot of accounting, a lot of finance, so please like, comment, subscribe, and let's get started with this problem. So here we have the Lima Company. We use job costing in its very first month, so there's no beginning inventory and anything. So we're going to do several journal entries, and I've kind of set up the journal entries just so it makes it a little bit quicker for us. So let's say we buy raw materials. Okay, so that's the materials account. We buy raw materials on account. So we're going to debit materials of $8,500, and we're going to credit accounts payable $8,500. So this is where we're getting started. Then remember, we have three different product costs: materials, labor, and overhead. That all moves into work in process, and then as we finish that, it moves to finished goods, and as we sell it, it moves to cost of goods sold. So we're going to show this, the actual journal entries, how it works. So now we have $8,500 of materials, and we use some of these materials, and we use them for three different jobs: jobs 101, 102, 103. Now, job costing accumulates the cost by job numbers. So we have 101, 102, 103. They're different jobs. They have different costs going in and different times and things like that. So these first three are going to represent our direct materials, and it's going to go into work in process. So we're going to take debit work in process for 2,200 plus the 1,800 plus the 1,700. So we're using direct materials of 5,700, and we're using overhead of 600. So overhead would be indirect materials, and it flows through overhead, and then it gets allocated later on as into work in process. So it goes through overhead first. And so what is our total materials that we've used? Well, 5,700 is direct materials plus the 600 indirect materials, and we're going to use 6,300. Now watch, we had 8,500, we've used 6,300, so the balance looks like it's going to be 2,200. All right, we're going to do the same thing for labor. The specific jobs are going to be direct labor, and then for the factory use or for all the jobs, that's going to be indirect labor. So our work in process is our direct labor, so it's 3,600 plus the 2,700 plus the 2,300. So our direct labor is going to be 8,600, and our indirect labor is going to be 1,100. That's all just given to us. Now, what is our labor account? Well, our labor account, we don't have an account called just labor, but it'd be something like wages payable or labor wages payable, something like that. So we're just going to use wages payable. We're already familiar with that account, so I'm just going to use wages payable. And there we go. You can call it payroll, factory payroll, something like that. But it's a liability, it's a payable, right? So therefore we have labor of 8,600, that's direct labor, and then we have indirect labor of 1,100. So there we have wages payable, and we've used labor. So we've done direct materials, we've done direct labor, and what's next? Well, the next one is overhead. We're going to estimate overhead to be 70% of our direct labor cost. Now this is given in a problem. So what we're going to do is take our direct labor of 8,600 times 0.7, and we say, well, we're using the estimate of 6,020 in this example. So we're going to debit work in process. It goes to work in process from overhead, from manufacturing overhead, or MOH. Could be called factory overhead, FOH. Now, let's say we have some actual overhead coming in. Well, what do we do if we have depreciation and we have utilities we're paying cash for, taxes we're paying cash for? Well, we would debit overhead and we would credit the cash account and the accumulated depreciation. So we would pay cash for utilities and we'd pay cash for taxes. Accumulated depreciation is going to be 2,200. And then our total overhead, we're going to debit overhead. These are actual overhead costs coming in as a debit. 2,500 plus the 2,200, that's 4,700. Now, remember, now watch, normally In financial accounting, we have depreciation. We would say depreciation expense and accumulated depreciation. Now, in managerial accounting, we're figuring out our product cost. Well, what happens is this is overhead. We debit overhead and we credit accumulated depreciation. It's not an expense right now. This is a product cost. We have materials and labor and overhead. These are the three product costs. It only becomes an expense when we sell them. We complete them and we sell them, and that becomes cost of goods sold. All right, so let's say we finished jobs 101 and 103, and so we need to figure out what's the cost of everything, right? So let's look at our direct materials. Let's go back and look at our direct materials cost for job 101. Direct materials for 101 is $2,200, and then it's $1,800. I just can copy it down. $1,800 and $1,700. Okay, so there's our three direct material cost. We can do the same thing with our labor. What's our labor cost? Well, our labor cost is $3,600, $2,700, and $2,300. So $3,600, I just copy it down because I have it in a column. So this is our direct materials for job 101, our direct labor for job 101. Now, how do we calculate overhead? Now, remember our estimate. We estimate overhead as 70%. In this problem, this particular company estimates overhead to be 70% of direct labor costs. So we're going to take the 3,600 times 0.7. So that's 70%, and then we can just copy this down. So now we have, for each of our jobs, we have materials, labor, and overhead, and we need to figure out the total here. So we can do the total of materials and labor and overhead. Okay, so let's do this. We can take the total, that's 5,700. We can add this up all the way across. 8,600, 6,200. We can do the same thing all the way across here. We can say, what is the total for job 101? That's what we really want to know. Job 101 is 8,320. Job 102, 103 are these numbers, 6,390 and 5,610. Now let's check our work for this for direct materials. Was it 5,700? Do we make an entry for 5,700? Yes, that's our total direct labor. Direct materials. Our direct labor is 8,600 right here, and our overhead we allocated was 6,020. So those are check figures. These three are check figures that we already know, and then we care about what is the cost of job 101, 102, and 103. Now, it says we finished jobs 101, so we have to move them from work in process to finished goods. So what is the cost of job 101? 101 is 8,320. What's the cost of job 103? It's 5,610. So we have a finished goods moving from work in process to finished goods, 13,930. So there we go. We have 13,930 that's moving over. Okay, now let's say we sold job 101 on account. Now I just put a placeholder here because I didn't calculate the cost of job 101 already. So I just said, well, let's sell it for $8,500. That's not going to be enough, right? We can't make a $200 profit on this. So let's make this. Let me change my selling price. Let's make it $12,500. Okay, so we sold job 101 for $12,500. So we need to make two entries. One is the cost of job 101. So that's going to be 8,320. So we're going to debit cost of goods sold, and we're going to credit finished goods. So we're moving it from finished goods account to the cost of goods sold. Now it becomes an expense that goes on the income statement. And what do we sell it for? Well, we sell it for more than what it costs. We're selling it for $12,500 and $12,500. Okay? Now, so this is our kind of complete picture. But one thing I always like to ask, to make sure you understand the flow of the cost, what are the ending balances of all these items? Well, what is our ending materials? Remember, way at the top, we purchased how much materials? We purchased $8,500. So we can use this account, materials, minus how much did we use up? 6,300. Remember I mentioned we had 2,200 of materials? Well, here's where we've calculated 2,200 of materials. Okay? Now what is an ending work in process? Well, ending work in process, we finished 101 and 103, so we did not finish 102. If we don't mention it, then we know we haven't finished that. So job 102, our ending work in process that we have not finished, is 6,390. All right, so our ending work in process is just that job 102. What is our ending finished goods? Well, that's going to be the job 103 that we finished but did not sell. So ending finished goods, and you can do it this way, 13 minus the 8320. That's going to be 5610. That's the cost of job 103. Okay, we finished 101 and 103. We sold 101, so it means we did not sell 103. All right, what is our cost of goods manufactured? Or what's the cost we moved to finished goods? Well, that's the cost of the two we finished, 101 and 103. That's 13,930. So the debit to finished goods, this 13,930, is the cost of job 101 and the job 103. What is our cost of goods sold? Well, our cost of goods sold is the cost of job 101, right? This is what happened to 101. And then what is our gross profit? Well, our gross profit is going to be our sales, 12,500 minus our cost of goods sold of 8,320. So we made a $4,180 profit on job 101. That's why we keep up with the cost by job, because each one is different. We can't just say each job cost us $8,000. Well, it cost us more than that sometimes, less than that. In a job costing system or job order costing system, each job is unique. So job 101, 102, and 103 are all unique with unique cost. I hope this is helpful. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.